Thank you, friends. I want to thank you for coming out again at 24 hours notice, several thousand strong. Now, friends, for more than 600 days since Israel began to unleash its genocidal assault upon Palestinians in Gaza, we have warned that if it continued to be granted impunity by Western powers, continued to be supported and armed in its violations of international law, in its violations of every norm of human conduct, that it would act in a way that risked a wider war that would engulf the entire Middle East and endanger the whole world. And over the course of its genocide, Western governments, including our own, shame upon them, have ignored those warnings, continue to support and arm Israel, even as it slaughtered over 55,000 Palestinians, destroyed every part of the infrastructure of life in Gaza, forcibly starved an entire population, attacked and invaded Lebanon, killing over 2,700 people, blinding and maiming children by sending explosive electronic devices into a civilian population, bombed Syria, and now launches a major attack on Iran, including the bombing of residential areas and the killing of more civilians. Now yesterday our Foreign Secretary found himself unable even to condemn this latest violation of international law, this assault on the sovereignty of another state. Instead repeated the tired and grotesque mantra that Israel has a right to defend itself, the same disgraceful lie that Israel has tried to foist on the world to justify its genocide for the last 20 months. Now we all know what Israel is doing. It is using this moment to extend its power, to extend the power of the US across the region, and to try to deflect attention from what it continues to do in Gaza, where right now 27 slaughtered overnight. Right now Palestinians continue to be massacred, continue to be forced to fight for scraps of food delivered by a sham humanitarian agency, being shot at and killed by IDF soldiers who of course have the right to defend themselves from crowds of hungry people. So Israel has chosen this moment to attack Iran, a moment where its forced starvation of Palestinians and the grotesque genocidal rhetoric of its ministers has become finally too much, even for some of its staunchest supporters to stomach. A moment where it became increasingly isolated, with growing calls across the global community, including in our parliament, for a total arms embargo and meaningful sanctions. 2 weeks ago, we even saw a Tory MP standing up in Parliament calling for a full arms embargo and saying if this were any other state, that MPs would be discussing a full-scale military intervention to stop that state in its tracks. Friends, 2 weeks ago, as we surrounded Parliament in our thousands calling for an arms embargo, we released an opinion poll that showed by a margin of 4 to 1 the British public support our demands for that arms embargo, support our demands for divestment by every council, support our demands for every supermarket to stop selling Israeli goods. Now in the face of that public pressure, we saw our government introduce sanctions against two Israeli ministers, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich. Their actions were not enough. They were built on the lie that the problem is some extremists within the Israeli government. The truth is that successive Israeli governments have for decades imposed upon the Palestinian people a system of apartheid and colonization across all of historic Palestine. The truth is that Israel is a state founded upon an ideology of Zionism that says that only one people, Jewish people, have rights and indigenous Palestinians no rights at all. And friends, the final truth is this: when you establish a racist regime of ethnic and religious supremacy, then you can only sustain it if you teach an entire population to believe that those over whom they exercise power are less than human. That is why we see opinion polls like the one released 2 weeks ago that revealed that 47% of Israeli Jews believe that Israel has the right to kill every Palestinian living in the towns and cities it occupies. That 82% of Jewish Israelis support the entire ethnic cleansing of every Palestinian from Gaza. 56% of Jewish Israelis support the expulsion of every Palestinian citizen of the State of Israel. And here's the final truth. That mindset, that racist mindset, will not change unless Israel is held to account, unless its impunity ends, unless it is treated like a pariah state that no one sells arms to, that nobody trades with, that no artist or cultural figure will perform in, that is removed from every international arena. So friends, Israel hopes that by provoking a war with Iran, it will silence those demands for boycott, divestment and sanctions. We must not allow that to happen. We must wrap up all of our demands and reassert the truth that if Israel continues to be allowed impunity, it will continue to threaten world peace. So friends, on Tuesday of next week, on June the 17th, we will take those demands in mass demonstrations to arms factories in Portsmouth, in Sheffield and in Kent. Join us. And next Saturday, we will be back here in the streets of our capital, hundreds of thousands strong, marching once more to call for an end to the genocide and an end to all UK complicity in the oppression of the Palestinian people. We do not stop. We never stop until the entire infrastructure of oppression is ground into the dust of history and the Palestinian people are finally free. From the river to the sea. From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
Thank you.